So, hello, Jen McCrea from Awesome New Academy.
Welcome, Jen.
Hello.
Welcome to Teepee and virtually our Teepee Talks today.
I love it. It's a beautiful teepee that you have. I love the setup.
Thank you. Hopefully one day you can come in person.
I really love that.
Exactly. So thank you for taking the time out today to jump on and talk to us and share your knowledge and also introduce our business. So Awesome You Academy, Jen. I know we can see that beautiful banner in the background, igniting the awesome in you. Can you just introduce a little bit, you know, how it started and why and all of those things with us?
Absolutely. I guess the reason why I started Awesome You Academy is that I come from working in the education sector for about 15 years. And I realized that there's a lot of practical, personal and professional tips and tools and strategies that were not really taught either in school or at university. There's a huge gap there. And I've done a lot of mentoring. I have had a lot of experience with leadership programs, with young people, volunteering programs. And essentially, Awesome You Academy is about inspiring and fostering self-belief, courage and motivation to excel in life, both personally and professionally.
Amazing. And just the right person for it as well. So you have this infectious energy and motivation, like even when you're in the company, and I see it with others as well, when you're in the presence of others and you can just really get the goodness out of people. So it's amazing and it's a perfect fit. So we wanted to get you with all that yumminess, we wanted to get you on today just to yumminess, like it's goodness. And
So yummy.
Oh, yay, coffee. Share some tips with everybody. So we're obviously seeing everyone now working from home in a space they're probably not used to working in, but also sharing that with others, whether that's husbands, partners, flatmates, animals, children, the list goes on. And we just wanted to pick your brains and get you to share your beautiful knowledge with everybody as to how can they help themselves through this self-isolation while also trying to be the best they can be.
I think the number one thing is that it's all about self-care. So if I can leave any message today to everyone, it's be kind to yourself.
Very good. Yeah.
Look, I'm talking personally here because this is something that I think a lot of people are facing, especially in this first period, we can call it first period of self-quarantine. But when you pass from a normal routine, right, to a self-isolating with your loved ones, with your family, with your kids, with like things are changing substantially. And the thing that I find most constricting is the fact that we are still working with the expectations that we had before. So even if we didn't realize it, like we are actually meeting a lot of people, we are actually changing the environment we are in, and all these things are not there anymore.
Yeah.
And we didn't reset our mindset in order to face what we have now.
Correct.
So that might result in a lot of frustration as well.
Yeah, which I think.
So how would you cope with? How would you reset this kind of parameters?
So something that I got taught when I was doing my postgrad in education, specializing in career development, was the chaos theory model. And essentially in life, the only constant is change. So I'm actually very much, I guess, a positive change maker. And so something that we need to do during change is essentially face the fear and do it anyway, which is actually an amazing book if you haven't read it before. That has definitely been life-changing for me. In terms of what I have recommended for clients, I've actually come up with a daily quarantine questionnaire. I don't know if you can see that on the screen. Can you see that?
Yes.
But I'll read it. So I'm getting everyone to practice self-care every day. And the very first question that I ask is, what am I grateful for today? That could be a beautiful sunrise. I had to get up this morning super early, 5:30, with my little puppy. He needed a walk, and so absolutely grateful for the sunrise. Also grateful for family. I had contact with my sister back in Ireland this morning. You could be grateful for a number of things, whether it's relationships, whether it's your home, whether it's the beautiful nature that's outside and actually healing during this whole coronavirus pandemic. So I think that's a really important one to start off with, and to start your day with, what am I grateful for?
Yeah. And I totally agree with you, because sometimes even when we're in that most negative of mindset, we often think of the negative first, but also turning that as your first question to go, what am I grateful for? It could even, this sounds ridiculous, but in the shower today, I had warm water, hot shower, and soap. And I thought, what? Not everyone in the world is as fortunate as I am today. And I'm grateful for something so simple to us. I was eternally grateful for. And it starts your day, shower being the first thing you do. It started my day with that tone. So yeah, very good question.
Very good answer.
And very good answer.
Yeah. And also super important during this particular time in our lives right now is connecting with others. So my next question in the daily quarantine questionnaire is, who am I checking in or connecting with today? I think this is such a perfect opportunity to reestablish relationships that you might have maybe lost over the years, to reconnect and reach out to loved ones that you maybe haven't spoken to in a while. I think not only does that make you feel better, but it makes the other person feel better as well. And you help support each other through this really challenging time at the moment. So yeah, who are you connecting with today?
And actually, I've seen just on that, I know because you obviously practice these questions, I've seen you've had 2 amazing scenarios via Zoom in just the last week, which is your cousin's wedding and
That's right.
Somebody's birthday. And it's like a huge collective joining online. I thought, how amazing is that?
Yeah. So my cousin, he got married in Sydney last Sunday, and there were 250 people logged into Zoom in different parts of the world. My parents in Ireland were logged in, while I was logged in here in Australia. And I have to say, it went seamlessly. It was fantastic. And so it went from the music room where they had a band playing, then they went to the minister with the bride and the groom, then they went to someone's living room where one of the friends was giving a prayer, someone else's living room where they were giving a reading. It was amazing.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
So things like that, there's a huge opportunity. And I know we've brought our family catch-ups out of Skype actually and onto Zoom, and my dad's like, this is wonderful because the audio and you can see each other, and it's
but technically I have for the family because my family can't use Zoom.
we're not close enough to teach them how to use it, so we still do the Skype calls and the FaceTime calls with Nonna and so but it's a wonderful thing. And there is things that actually, connecting with those people that we maybe don't have the time, or we have left, it's just drifted. It's a really good opportunity to connect again. I really like that one too. Thank you for that.
And I have connected with people who I haven't maybe seen for a long time, and they've just really come back so appreciative and so grateful that I reached out. And so I think if everyone kind of reconnects, I think that's a beautiful thing to do this time.
I totally agree.
It is and it isn't, but it is. It's an incredible time for making new friends and connect with the old ones.
Yeah,
you know.
totally.
And the paradox is that even before it was a great time, but now we appreciate it even more.
Yeah.
And I think that's actually one of the lessons of this too, because actually us as humans, we cannot survive in isolation. It is against who we are as creatures, you know. We have to share and we have to care. And if we actually find ourselves creeping into isolation and closing down the communication with the outside world, we're going to find ourselves in a dark place quite soon. So actually, I know technology is not everybody's form of or preferred form of contact, but in this time, it is serving a great purpose to start to bring that unity to the community and whatever that is. And we've seen some great examples. Like we've got a friend in London in a terrace row, and they're having gin in the bin at 5 o'clock every Friday night, and they all go out into their little front garden, and they're all in the front garden to have the gin in the bin. I think it's just wonderful.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah, so last night on the birthday, we all had a cheers, and there was more than 30 people all singing happy birthday on Zoom from different countries around the world, all in unison, which we've probably never thought to do before.
That's cool. That's cool. And your third question, Jen?
The third question is, what expectations of normal am I letting go of today? So like you mentioned before, our lives have completely changed very, very quickly. And what we're used to doing, you know, we are not able to do anymore. So it's just about letting go and not getting too stressed or too anxious about what we're used to doing, and actually adapting and embracing this new environment that we all find ourselves in. And just by letting go, I think you have that sense of relief. You're kind of empowering yourself to deal with the situation better.
Yeah, absolutely. The expectation of what normal is has totally changed, and even though expectation often leads to disappointment in this new world, none of us have done this before. Like even my 95-year-old grandmother, she's like, no, I've been, you know, war, but no, this is totally different. And you know, I think that's where we carve out our new normal. So even in this transitionary period, which you know often the gurus talk about, that we don't embrace the transitions. We go from one phase and then to another. So often this is a long transition for us, that we quite possibly could be 3 months in this kind of self-quarantine isolation mode. That's not one to neglect, because that's actually where we can do the groundwork. We can really help ourselves for then that next phase, whatever that is. So I really like that of letting go of the old normal and, you know, starting to
But
and even a personal go ahead, Lorenzo.
No, you go.
Oh, I was just going to say a personal example of letting go for me. So I'm used to doing dance training and social dancing 3 to 4 times a week, whether it's salsa or kizomba. And I really miss the connection. I miss the partnership. I miss the people. However, I can still do the learning. I can still connect, and I can do online classes. And it's just a different way of learning and of living at the moment. And I've let go of the missing the connection, and I'm just making the most of the digital connections that we're currently experiencing.
For sure. And it'll make us, you know, appreciate the in-person connection even more when that time comes, right? Because you see your first dance class, after all, you'll be like, yes, give me a hug.
But look, I think that there's gonna be this thing is gonna be over sooner or later, right? But I've heard a few people saying, "Oh, I hope this thing is gonna pass soon and everything is gonna come back to normal."
Yeah.
I think what we constructively need to do is to start thinking about the fact that the next normal is not gonna be the same than the previous one, because if you can learn and improve these situations through going through what we are doing, you know, You know what I mean?
Yes.
Sorry?
Collectively, we want a better normal going forward.
Exactly. What tools, and even from our side of things, business totally changed and will continue to evolve. And yes, of course, we'll go back to in-person classes, but actually online's going to be a totally normal for us too. We can reach beautiful communities that we'd never have been able to reach before.
Yeah.
So it's definitely brought, you know, a wonderful opportunity for us. Also learning how to embrace technology.
Yeah.
That's it.
Like,
you feel
and
connecting to what Jen was saying before, is like, I think every single one of us should actually work on the way we set our expectations up, because no matter what happens tomorrow, and we don't know what's going to happen, if we are able to manage our expectations in a better way, we're gonna be less frustrated, less anxious, less, you know. So that, I think, is worth a shot.
Yeah, totally agree.
I think everyone would call me a people person. I know you both do, and I love connecting. And I really was missing the face-to-face workshops, the keynote speaking, but on the flip side, going digital, I can help so many more people. It's much more accessible. It's scalable. There are so many positives to the current business situation that I'm facing. And yeah, I think both of us can be kind of taking our, what we can share to the world, to a whole other level.
Totally agree. So another brilliant question. And what number are we on now? Are we on the 5th one?
Number 4.
Number 4.
This question is, there's only 5. And number 4, how am I getting outside today? So I know some countries are in complete lockdown, and that's not possible. Here in Australia, we still have the opportunity to get outside, to get some fresh air, to get our walk with the nature. And I think it's just important to plan ahead, maybe put it into your daily routine that you definitely have some fresh air and you manage to get outside. I think that's really important as well.
Absolutely. And, you know, if you have the opportunity to, life is thriving in nature, and she's got a very good way of just taking all that tension out of us without us even having to really do anything. It's a very calming spot. But even if that's a terrace, you know, or a balcony or a rooftop terrace for people that maybe aren't allowed to and are restricted to getting out. I know his family are in Milan in Italy, and they're all very well, but they're not allowed to go 200 meters further than their front door, which is very limiting as to where you can go. So if the apartment block or the, you know, house or whatever, if you've got a back garden or all of that kind of stuff, you know, it's often good even just to close down the eyes and in some ways forget that you've got a boundary there and still listen and tune into nature. It's a brilliant way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Even just hearing birds sing, it's just, it can be very, very therapeutic. I know that we discussed last week that in China, since the coronavirus, there's been children who've never heard birds sing or seen a blue sky before. They're now hearing the nature around them, and it's absolutely fabulous.
Isn't it amazing? Like that's amazing for kids and even adults to experience. We're in Venice in Italy, seeing wildlife that haven't been spotted there in like 40, 50 years. So it's a great way to, nature is cleansing as well as we're cleansing. Nature is cleansing. She's getting her time to do her thing. Birds are coming back, animals are coming back to places where maybe had too much foot traffic. So it's a good thing.
Yeah, and I think it's a great reminder of the fact that this thing is, okay, I'm going to say something really drastic now. But this thing is, there's a part of this thing that is very in our head, right? All this fear, all this collective fear we generate this thing, right?
Apologies, we have a boat going past.
And when we go into nature, it actually reminds us that everything is actually working in a nice and joyful and regular way, and it's like nothing else is actually so much disrupted from this thing.
Yeah. And I think that illustrates the cycle, though, too. It's very cyclical in terms of the connection between us and nature. So when we're at a time of, you know, tension or stress or feeling it, once we go out and we sit in the sun or we sit on the grass or we sit in nature, it actually makes us feel more normal or more at ease. And that shows you the connection between everything, that actually that's fine. Nature's fine and thriving. She's able to support us during this time when we're not feeling okay.
It's like, really reassuring.
Yeah, reassuring. That's
it's like when you're having an argument with the whole family, everything is going crazy, everybody's shouting, right? And then you suddenly get out of the door and everything is like normal. You know?
Yeah. Awesome question too.
Yeah. What's number 5?
Number 5 is, how am I moving my body today? So for someone like myself who's used to exercising 7 days a week, I've had to be creative and maybe use things from the kitchen for weightlifting, running on the spot, you know, using different equipment to ensure that I'm still able to move my body and get, you know, my exercise in. I think it's really important. Even if you're not used to exercising, there are some really great free videos that you can look up, even if it's just doing 10-15 minutes a day. Just get the blood flowing. It will help your mind and it'll help your body as well.
Can I ask you a question that it just popped into my mind right now, but it's actually quite intriguing. Do you have a kind of a number of exercises that we could do with the tools that we can find in the kitchen, for example?
Well, there's also
that's a brilliant question, and I can definitely do another episode, and we can go through some exercises that you can use with house.
Like tins of beans, everybody's got some tins right now. Everybody's got some like kilos of flour and kilos of pasta. So that's a really good one. Second and
you can be jumping over your dining room chair, you know, so you can be doing arm lifts. There's all sorts of things we can do with within the home.
So Awesome U Academy is going to come back for the in-house training.
That's it. This is number 6, but I just feel it's important to say now, if I was to do number 6 for the daily quarantine questions, I would say, or ask the question, have I limited the amount of news I'm watching today? Because we're so surrounded by a lot of negative media, a lot of negativity on social media in general, on all of our devices. There's no escaping it. And I think it's so important for our own mental health, our own self-care, to really limit the amount of negative viewing that we're actually allowing, even if it's just audible on the phone. So that would be my final question. Am I limiting the amount of negative media that I'm experiencing?
And I totally, that is a very important question. And to be honest, I think your list will probably be 10 by the time in the next couple of weeks, because they're very good questions. It's like, and but it's true, and I know a lot of people, it's me included, Lorenzo included, it's the first thing we do in the morning, and which actually I've started to change, because there is unfortunately no good news in the news at the moment. Often, sometimes we can find those little gems, but you know what? This corona business is happening, and you know everything. It's not that we're ignorant to that, but it's also not what we need to consume first thing in the morning. Is negativity, because it starts the way.
Or last thing at night before you sleep.
Or last thing at night, exactly, and take that into our sleep and our dreams. Like,
also, it looks like all the media. All the media are actually focusing 100% on this thing, and it looks like everything else that is still happening in the world completely disappeared.
I know.
So it's like
we can make our own news. That's what we do. So limit the negative news on the devices, and I think also probably into that is the social, like time on social media, regardless. Like I know that from myself, we had a huge adjustment to not going physically to work, so not commuting and going to see people and having in-person conversations. And often when we'd get home, we'd then jump in the car and go for a long walk in nature, and then our whole world being changed to actually your home. And I actually noticed I've got that timer that tells you how long you're having screen time. You can check your screen time, and it jumped that first week, and I was like, you know what, no, because most of that I don't need to, I'm just scrolling. So again, putting the parameters in place that actually
habits.
It's totally a habit, and it's up to us to choose what this normal is for this transitionary period is. And it's a very good one. I'm, as of this week, totally limiting screen time from a social media or news point of view, because it's not serving me.
and
Self-discipline is self-care.
Yes.
If you think of it that way.
Yes.
Totally
yes.
agree. Well, those are wonderful.
Bow to that.
Yeah. They're wonderful questions. So thank you. We will also post them in the description of this video. So I think it's a really important one for you to answer, and for everybody listening and watching this video in the future to answer in action, because it will certainly bring back that life within us, and that, you know, it'll start to help us cruise a little bit.
We need to ignite the awesome in ourselves.
Exactly.
We do indeed. Jen McCrea from Awesome You Academy, thank you so much.
Thank
Namaste.
you very much.
Thank you.
And we look forward to second installments with the flower and the tins.
Definitely.
I look forward to it too. And thank you so much for inviting me into the Teepee. It's a beautiful space, and can't wait to come back.
Pleasure. See you soon.
All right, take care.